One of the things that I never thought that I would have done was actually physically hand my daughter over to, her father because my addiction took me to the point where I wanted to, feed my addiction and the relationship then that I was in, instead of being a mother. I did everything to my daughter that my mother had done to me growing up. And I had always said that I was never going to be that mother. I was going to be there for my child, but, my addiction had taken over every part or, every aspect of my life, and that was the hardest part. Hi, I'm Jess, and I am a grateful recovering addict and alcoholic. And this is my story. I started out using when I was 13 years old. I started out with marijuana, which ultimately led to alcohol. I do come from a long line of alcoholics. My father is an alcoholic. My mother is an alcoholic. My father did find sobriety. But my addiction took me to a very, very dark place. Growing up, I was allowed to basically do what I wanted, when I wanted. I really had no rules, which, ultimately led me to just living a life of chaos and unmanageability. I went to my first actual inpatient at the age of 19 years old. I was a heroin addict for 2 years, but I still then didn't take my recovery serious. I think I was too young. I wasn't ready for it. I got pregnant when I was in a halfway house. So I was 19 years old when I had my daughter. I moved back home. I think, living in a small town with not so much to do, I felt that, being the life of the party, wanting those friends, those friendships, um, took me to becoming an addict and alcoholic. I, uh, I have been through numerous inpatients and outpatients my entire life. I had my daughter when I was in a halfway house. I moved back home. I became an alcoholic and cocaine user. I've had a DWI. What really took my addiction though was methamphetamines. I'm not saying, one drug is worse than the other one, but my drug of choice was meth. It I lost everything due to that. I lost my house, I lost my car. I even gave my daughter, I lost her for about a year. Um I was in two raids during my addiction. My last one, the last raid that I was in took me to jail. I sat in jail for 112 days. I went on probation, but still then, even the law couldn't, stuff or take away my addiction. Um, I violated probation. I went on the run for about a month, due to that. And then I was mandated. I was either, told I was going to go to upstate for 1 to 3 years or take a 3 month inpatient. And, being my addictive behavior, my addict mind, I'm like, well, I'm going to take the easy way out. But I don't think it was the easy way out because I really had to focus on me and really learn to let go of, all that pain that I had held on to so long. I really surrendered myself to a program when I was mandated to inpatient. I think the hardest part about it was, for me, is like having that first real sober cry. And that was because I was on the phone with my daughter and she had finally had enough and said, just giving me, all the hurt that she had was being projected onto me, and I think that was something that I really needed. Due to that, fully surrendered to my disease. I handed it over to what I call, my higher power, which is my God. Um, I think I've been sober for 3 years now, and it has been the most, it's really been a beautiful ride for me. A lot of things have opened up for me, I'm doing things in my life today that I never would have thought imaginable. I have a relationship with my family today. I have a relationship with my daughter. Most importantly, I have a relationship with myself. And I think showing up for myself daily and working with other people that, do struggle with addiction and are wanting to, find the life of recovery has really been like the most important one of just very important to me and very special to me because um the people that I surround myself with today, freely have given me, what was so freely given to them. And it's really a beautiful community that, that we are thriving in. In our program, in AA and NA in AA it talks about how, you find your lifelong friends in this, you walk shoulder to shoulder, and that's what it's about. It's, I always thought, my using friends were always, going to be the friends for the rest of my life. They let me sit in my misery and let me sit in pain, and that's not what it is. Having connections, true connections with people today is what, keeps me going in my recovery. I think I never thought that I was going to I didn't think I was ever gonna make it. I honestly did not. I thought, I would either be dead or sitting in prison today, but I'm not. I'm here and I'm trying to I strive to make a difference for myself and other recovering addicts and alcoholics today. There is help. There is help. I know for me, I really had to want it and I really had to work at it. I still work at it every day. It's an everyday battle for me. But I have a way of, dealing with it today. One of the things that I never thought that I would have done was actually physically hand my daughter over to, her father because my addiction took me to the point where I wanted to, feed my addiction and the relationship then that I was in, instead of being a mother. Um, and that today I still kind of live with that guilt a little, but I was able to rebuild that relationship with my daughter, and I know, that today we still have our issues with that, but that is something that we are still working on. I did everything to my daughter that my mother had done to me growing up. I did exactly everything that my mother had done to me. And I had always said that I was never going to be that mother. I was going to be there for my child, but my addiction had taken over every part or every aspect of my life, and that was the hardest part was looking my daughter in the eye when she had asked me, why are you doing this to me? um but at that point, like, I didn't have an answer for her, and that was the hardest thing. um Now today I can tell her that it wasn't her fault. It was me and my trauma growing up. It's it's hard for me to talk about that because I guess I still have a little bit of a problem with it right now. But having that, they always say that kids are resilient and this and that. I wasn't resilient to my mother until I actually started seeing everything that she had done to me that I had done to my daughter. Um Today we have a better relationship. We have an understanding because I can be that role model for my daughter and be open and honest with her about everything that I had done. Our relationship isn't perfect. There's things that, she uses against me today, but we can talk about our problems today and um not have resentments towards each other, and our relationship is a lot better today. So what keeps me clean and sober today is the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. Um, I had went to my first NA meeting when I was 19 years old at my first halfway house, and I was really, attracted to it. But again, I wasn't ready to fully embrace the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. When I My last relapse that I had finally said, okay, enough is enough. Let me see what this program is all about. And reading the literature and finding a sponsor and going through the 12 steps was such a huge, huge relief to me. Again, working through the resentments and the anger and the fear and the guilt that I had and really taking a look at it and handing it over to, my higher power, really, really set me free. But today, I live the steps daily. They're, the biggest part of my life and my recovery. I know for me, I have to ask God to, I have to surrender my disease to Him every day, because if I don't, I notice, like, if I forget to pray every morning, I notice that I start to get a little wonky and things just get weird for me. And it's like, I don't like that. Having the practice of prayer in my life has just been a huge, huge turning point for me in my recovery. I get to work with other women in the program and take them through the steps, and being able to have that connection with women, and having that trust. They're having trust in me, and I have never had that in myself or anyone. And to, have, let alone have someone else, confine in me, is really, really just a beautiful, beautiful process. I love the program. I live for the program. I love being a part of something, having that connection with other people that have been through the same things that I have been through, and having that understanding, like not being judged, not being, criticized of, you did this, you did that. Just really having that true understanding with someone else is, it's really great for me. It's what keeps me going. It's all about, helping the next person in a time of need. And that's how I live my life today. I live my life over having that faith over fear. I'm not scared anymore, because I have, my God walking with me, and working through me every day. Alcoholics Anonymous is, I'm so grateful that I was able to find them and find the people in the rooms that, want the same things in life. And we have fun. I feel like people can think that, like, it's um it's a punishment to go to AA or NA, but it's not. It's, we really build lifelong friendships with people who want to be better and do better. I was terrified at first of it, like, oh my goodness, I'm not good at speaking in front of people. I'm not good at, like, I don't want people to judge me, but like actually sitting down and telling my story and having people relate and, give feedback of, like, wow, thank God you're here. Yes, thank God I am here, because I didn't think I was going to be here today. And you know I feel like my purpose today is to just help people, and that's what I love to do.